Welcome, everyone, to In Before the Lock, episode 32. You've got 32. Rob and Davey Price. What's up, Davey?
Rob, hey, man. How's it going? I'm
excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah,
you know why?
Why?
I feel like we've released ourselves from the grip of over-planning this show. We're just fully winging it. We're out there.
Yeah, fully winging it. You know, we've got the confidence to wing it. That's really what it boils down to.
Well, we're AI is next. We are going to be replaced soon for you guys. I'm sure it'll be way better. Well, welcome back, guys. We're here for the first time in 2 weeks span in a while. So that is exciting.
I know. We're trying to keep a more regular time frame, aren't we, between shows, Rob?
We got a method down. GG, giving us a shout out. What's up, Method? Thank you for cheering us on. We aren't winging it completely. We do have a semi plan for this.
We do.
I hope our audio is good. Let us know if you can hear us. Okay. So we're gonna talk about Pokemon. We've got the LE's hot, baby. It's hot.
Yeah, it's gone. It's so hot, it's gone.
Yeah. So hot. LE is back. We called it. We right here on the show. We called it. I was like, I'm out. So maybe I didn't call it. But, and then we're going to talk about.
I got to say, I didn't expect the LE to go as quickly as it did. Like, I knew there'd be a Pokemon collector contingent that were going to go for that game, but I didn't expect it to be as overwhelming as what it was.
Well, it takes a lot of things to make a game work, and just having that bonus factor of like speculation is a huge plus for a game to launch. So kudos to Stern for knocking it out of the park on the themes. Sometimes not knocking it out of the park across the board, but at least on the themes they're real good lately. But it's cool. I mean, I'm getting over my junkyardness. I'm definitely feeling FOMO for not being in on the LE. But I can't wait to play it. I haven't.
Yeah, you haven't shot it yet. I was about to ask you whether you'd shot it yet. So was it at? I'm trying to remember what the last couple of shows were. Was it?
Well, the Pinball at the Beach was not there. Yes. I think that was like out of timing by a couple of weeks, and I guess TPF will be like the first big show.
Yeah. So. I think so. So Neil's played it, I think, at like one of those sort of gaming convention shows.
Okay. Everyone wants to know what Neil thinks.
Yeah, I'm giving him a shout out so he pops into the comments. Like, he only comes when you call his name 3 times.
Yes. What did he say?
I think he said it was all right. He also played Beetlejuice and said that was epic, but then went on to complain about it being really easy. So
interesting.
I don't know. Yeah, interesting takes. I think old K-Man was waxing lyrical on how good Beetlejuice was in the last couple of days. So says my pinball WhatsApp group. So yeah.
Oh, you're on a WhatsApp with K-Man, huh?
No, not with K-Man. Just with other dudes who listen to him. They fill me in on what he has and hasn't been saying.
Well, I like it when Kaneda's on like a positive streak because it deserves to be. You deserve to be positive about it. So let's celebrate the positivity of the positivity.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, so I was doing an agenda thing and I got off that. So we're going to talk about some mods for Pokemon. Davey and I are hacking away at some stuff. Maybe if we catch the vibe, we'll talk about it. I've been like, I'm not on the internet that much, but I am in 2 places talking about how much I've liked Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So I'll tell you guys why I'm geeking out on that. And then we've got Mod World. Davey's got some fun stuff to share with us. And man. So like anything jumped out at you on Pokemon, got you like excited early on? Yeah.
In terms of about the game,
mods.
Yeah, loads, man. Loads. Okay. I mean, I sort of I was excited for the game, and then I was disappointed when I first saw it. I think a lot of people were like, it looks simple. It's not. It just didn't jump out at me. It looked like, you mentioned the junkyard reference. It looked like a sort of a rehash of older games. It had the whirlpool, that they'd used on the previous game. Star Wars, and it's straight out of Creature from the Black Lagoon as well, in the same position, just on the opposite side. So there's a lot of reasons, I guess, as a pinhead to dislike it. But then sort of, you look at it a bit more, you realize they kept it simple for a reason. It needed to be accessible, it needed to go into arcades and be picked up by young kids. And young kids are not pinheads. They're not. They don't know the history of pinball. I was at a birthday, like a 50th birthday party on Saturday night, and there was a youngish kid there, going to uni, and he was like, "Oh, pinball machine." I was like, "Have you ever seen one before?" And he's like, "No, this is the first time I've ever seen one in the flesh." And I was like, "Let's go up and have a look." And it was Uncanny X-Men, and he went up and he could not believe that it looked like it did. It was like really complex, and all the light shows and all the ramps and everything. Because I think in most people's heads, when they haven't seen pinball before, it doesn't look like that. It looks like, I guess, how they imagine it to look.
It's dirty.
Yeah, dirty and simple and flat maybe, or whatever. But, I think obviously pinball as a hobby has taken things sort of to the extreme, because we always want more and more and more. But actually as a group of people who are coming to pinball for the first time, being kids and sort of, young adults, simpler is, I guess, better. It's a better entry point for these kinds of people. So
it's interesting too, because and someone said this to me recently. This wasn't my own thought, so whoever said that, thank you. But
yeah.
But it was a real conversation, and they were talking about Potter is geared towards kids, and then Pokemon is maybe a little bit different kids, but Potter's the opposite of Pokemon from a complexity perspective. Now, maybe not from a looks and a lights and a over the top, but if you think about a rules design, but on the other hand, Jersey Jack would never design a game like Pokemon. I don't think so. It's not surprising. And Eric Meunier was on it. I mean, I think Toy Story was definitely way more simple than
for sure.
Potter, so I guess you can't say that entirely, but it is interesting to take two games that are going to obviously sell high volume and attract home entertainment or family entertainment centers, arcades. They just took a different approach.
So I mean, and actually from a mod making perspective, I find Potter quite difficult. And Beetlejuice, exactly the same reason, right? When manufacturers throw everything at a game, there's not really a lot of opportunities, because they've already done so well in maxing out on the sculpts and maxing out on the light shows and filling every bit of available space with something. Whereas when you look at a game like Pokemon, there's so many opportunities there to do stuff with. There's the Pokeball itself, making that a bit more dynamic and animated potentially. There's this sign on the right there, which is above the scoop in exactly the same position as the Tokyo
is. Make it happen.
Literally, I had about 3 people send me screenshots of that area and go, "That looks familiar." So
we had a guy come by the shop the other day to pick up his Godzilla. He was in St. Louis, and he was like, your guys' stuff is really cool, but have you ever seen Stumbler's stuff? It's thanks, man. Thanks.
Thanks. That makes me feel great. That was a bit like us sitting down for a roast dinner on Sunday night with my wife cooking. She doesn't usually cook. And Ivy's like, "This is good, but it's not as good as our friend Fran's roast dinner."
Sorry, man.
You'll never be as good as that. You'll never be as good as that.
So it's a good point. I mean, obviously a lot of people wouldn't like that you're acknowledging that this stuff has room for more because they want it in there. But I also, this is a $7,000 machine potentially, right? It's not even a 10 or 11 or a 12. It's $7,000. So there's certainly some room there. You can pay 13 if you want, of course. But
pay 13.
So are anything jumping out at you? Where are you starting?
Definitely,
where are you starting?
100% the first thing that I'll be looking at myself, not a collaboration with you, which we'll get to in a sec. The first thing I'll look at myself is the sign, for sure, 100%.
Probably, that's that bad boy right there.
Probably a Pokedex, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Haven't fully decided yet. And I also need to sort of investigate exactly how litigious a Pokedex might be to stick there in terms of Pokemon coming down hard on that.
Has there been any pre-legal chatter on said topic?
No. But there's a mod thread that's opened up on Pinside, and there's definitely some mods that have already been released for Pokemon, so we'll check those out in a sec.
Okay.
But definitely there. I'm thinking some kind of electricity for Pikachu as well would be really cool. The Pokeball's awesome. I think, somebody close to my heart's going to be looking at that. There's a lot of stuff, man. So, and it's a weird one. Like from a business point of view, I sort of so you sort of look at the timeline of release. Like people were keen on it. It came out. Everybody's like, oh, all the pinheads were like, oh, is that it, right? And I've sort of been monitoring the Pokemon thread and sort of keeping tabs on which modders have been like posting and stuff, right?
Yeah, okay.
To try and sort of see who's kind of got their finger on the pulse of this one or not, right? And nobody's really. I don't think Tom Deester T Diddy has posted in the thread, or at least he didn't when I checked last week. C Arcades is nowhere to be seen. Nobody really seems to be on this. Now, I've been talking to Paul Jazz Boucher in the background. He's as keen as I am. He thinks there's a real opportunity here, particularly in terms of the fact that there's this sort of new market of people who will be going after this game. And I guess the question is how you get to those people, because they're not going to be on Pinside. They're not going to be on any of my mailing lists. How do you let them know that you've got this cool mod for the game? And that'll be an interesting one. Like, it might be, I don't know, maybe we actually have to go onto Pokemon.
Here's the key, Davey. Here's the key.
Yeah, tell me.
The mod has to be so obvious that you can't not have it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all I need to really do. Oh, okay. That was a good segue, bro. That was a good segue.
So before Pokemon came out, and I think that Davey and I were one of probably 1,000 people in the world having this exact same conversation. We were like, we need to make a card dispenser. We need to kick cards out of the front of that bad boy. And the internet certainly validated our assumption, which means that there's probably a lot of mod makers working on this problem that we have. As a pinball community, but we're kind of tinkering with it already, right? Like, is that what's going on?
We are.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that you've developed, Davey, I don't even know if you want to talk about that. I think will make our version better than the others.
Definitely, 100%. For multiple reasons. So we won't get into.
So we're jumping ahead a little bit. So like, there's definitely been a lot of people talking about a card dispenser that goes on the front of the machine, and if you've ever owned a Stern machine, you know that there's a hole there for a coin bill acceptor. Yep. No, bill acceptor. And most people use that for a speaker knob control, or at least a lot of people that mod, which you probably are since you're watching. And that's a great place to put a card dispenser, and
it's just the right size.
A dispenser that kicks out a Pokemon card was just fun. It's just fun.
And so our kind of overarching concept, isn't it, is tap into the game, work out when something cool happens in the game, like an extra ball or the replay feature or whatever it is, whatever we can get access to, essentially. But some kind of event that is, a celebratory event in the game, and that kicks out a card at that point in time and does a little light show to alert the player that the card's been kicked out. So essentially, it's sort of aimed at arcades. It's aimed at in a very similar vein as sort of redemption machines spitting out tickets, and kind of that buzz that you get when you've done something good, you get that payback of that card being spat out. Now,
I think did I send you some photos of this pretty early on? I think I did.
Yeah, are you going to show the Make World stuff?
I just want to prove to the world that we were talking about this before.
Before Facebook told us to do it.
Before Facebook, okay, I don't know. I'll find it later. Are we sharing anything? Are we even doing this?
Yeah. Should we do it?
No, I mean, like in general, are we building this?
Are we building it?
The mod.
Yeah. Do you want me to show my thingy?
So just everyone knows, like, we're kind of playing around with this. If you want to encourage us in whatever way you want to do that, please do. But Davey's decided that he's going to show what he's been working on. All right,
okay.
let's do
So
it.
this is our current design for the card dispenser, and this is the place where the cards sit in this little sort of holder section here, and there's a wheel underneath the cards that has a rubber band on it that sort of grips the bottom card and gets spat out the front here. So you can see sort of all the gearing and the servo motor here. This servo motor will be connected to some kind of patch into the game, so that the servo motor gets triggered when the cool event happens, like extra ball. That turns this wheel, card gets spat out the front, and then there's going to be an edge lit neon LED strip around the inside here that will play a cool effect as the card's coming out, to let the customer know that there's a Pokemon card ready for them to pick up. Now, this is a pretty standard sort of design for a card dispenser. It's how everybody sort of tends to do it. Now, I was sort of discussing this idea with my good friend Paul Jazz Boucher, who's also he's in the toy business, so he's very familiar with things that operate like this. And he told me a great story that I think Monopoly have a patent on like a card dispenser being used in games, in toys. But they're not the only ones to do it. They just hold a particular patent for a particular design. But he said that the most reliable card dispenser that's available on the market is the Uno card dispenser. Okay. So I duly went and bought one off Amazon and got it sent to me. And interesting, it's very similar to this design, except it uses 2 wheels instead of 1. So there's a couple of options here. I've printed this out and done sort of some rudimentary testing. A lot more testing needs to be done. I've got the light strips ready to go. They all work like any normal addressable LED strip, so they'll all be fine. We've already built the connection into Stern Games to monitor the light PCBs. We've had a bit of a technical hurdle to overcome with Stern Games, in that it was quite difficult to patch into the big lamp circuit boards in the games. We've overcome that problem now. Rob and I have sort of worked through that in the last couple of months, so that's available now.
Yeah, so the idea there is that, like an event like lighting the extra ball might kick out a card. Something to where if you've got this on your machine and you want to challenge your son or your daughter or your neighbor to do something specific to get a card, that you can kind of like explain to them kind of how to light this major event. It could be related to something more simple than that, but I think that's what Davey's been building, is just a way to trigger this based on a major event in the game, based on an insert, right?
Yeah, that's right. And so this is the exact size of the build acceptor in the front of your coin door. I haven't built any of the fixings or anything like that yet, but essentially this will just sort of screw it. You'll just remove that panel, screw this into place, connect the wiring up to the extra ball lamp PCB that monitors that stuff, and away you go. Stick some Pokemon cards in, and let your kids get a Pokemon card when they get an extra ball.
Yeah, I got I'll share a little photo that I had done about how that would screw in. And I think as far as how you would configure it, if you want to have like a special card in there, it would really just be about how many special cards you stack into that stack. So the stack could be 100 cards or 25 cards or whatever. But this is the back side of the coin door on a stern. It actually has 4 screws there for the bill acceptor. And this would sit there, and it wouldn't conflict with anything that you have inside there. So I think one thing that's in this model is like a wheel for adjusting the kind of like the thickness for the card to go through. Are you working on that at all, or did you kind of take that out?
Yeah, I've taken it out for the moment because I think sort of V1 I'll probably just hard code the width of the card rather than having like a wheel, because yeah, I mean, ideally you would have it so that it was, because based on what Paul was saying, and in the sense that they're quite finicky, and I think the issues are that 2 cards get spat out instead of 1. That's one of the issues.
Right.
And the other issue is that you just get a full jam, like nothing comes out at all, even though there's cards in the system. So, there's going to be various mechanical things we'll have to put in place in order to avoid those issues. And one of those will be a thickness card. But initially, I'll try and remove as many variables as possible and just deal with Pokemon cards only. Deal with that thickness of card, and then we can sort of change it after the fact to accept more different types of cards after that point.
So we're early on this. I think sometimes Davey would have a wait list of some kind sign up for this, but this is just kind of letting you, the insiders, our 14 amazing viewers right now, in on it.
Everybody gets a free one. Whee!
Yeah. So no. Shipped directly from Davey. But yeah, let us know what you think. I mean, I'm excited for it. I think it's a great idea. It's a lot of fun.
It's a great idea.
And thank you for letting me be a part of it. And I will certainly.
Well, it was your idea originally, Rob, wasn't it? So,
I guess so.
You can take credit for that one.
Yeah. Cool. So you got a couple things in the works. For us, of course, we've talked about a topper. It's always, I don't know, like we moved quickly on Kong and Star Wars. We're definitely not in that position right now on Pokemon. It's a little bit of a wait for the right idea to come up, and we just haven't got there yet.
Yep.
But I got to play it first. Usually I've played it by now, and that hasn't been the case.
I mean, it's, and we haven't talked about this, but there's, much. But the big risk with Pokemon is Nintendo. They are renowned as being extremely hot on protecting their IP. It's them and Guns N' Roses who have got the reputation in the industry of like suing people for breach of copyright. And I mentioned earlier that we've already got a Pokemon thread on Pinside, Pokemon mod thread on Pinside, with some very early mods. The usual sort of early mods that come out even before the game's like in the hands of the first owner. So I'll just quickly show that as well. So it's created by our good friend Andy at Rocket City Pinball, who usually creates these mod threads. Shout out Andy. And he, of course, he did a Pokeball for the start button, which was the obvious one. Great work by him as always. So it'd be interesting to see whether, because this is like level 1 in terms of copyright breaches, right? Like, are Pokeballs going to be covered in, and that's, I would say that Pokeball there would be, because that's like the Pokemon ball, isn't it? It's the normal one. But there's various other Pokeballs around as well, isn't there? There's, let's see if there's this one. So they call that the Master Ball, and it's one of the other main Pokeballs that are available. But there's multiple hundreds of different types of Pokeballs, all different colours. It'd be interesting to know whether they're all covered, under copyright. Or whether it's just some of them. But we've obviously got a lot of other things here that are, very much going to be in breach of copyright. Putting the Pokemon logo on something. You would imagine if anybody's going to get any heat from breaching copyright, it's going to be things like that. Again, a Pikachu shooter plate, like that is going to be, of course, it's going to draw the attention of Nintendo for copyright breaches. So, this is all the stuff that comes out very early on, and it'll be interesting to see just how hot they are on this stuff, because it's pinball. We're a lot smaller in terms of overall sales, amount of money being made, all that kind of stuff. So whether they are going to waste their time going after these people to send cease and desists, I'm not sure. But it'll be interesting, and obviously that'll affect you a lot too, won't it, Rob? In terms of like,
yeah, I mean, I think depending on your mod business, and whether you have your own website and how you promote your stuff, it's risky, right? If you're making videos and you're using the word Pokemon on your websites and all that, it's one thing to 3D print some stuff and put it on Pinside. We're getting a little bit of feedback all of a sudden. I don't know why that is.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
All fine.
Okay. Good deal. So we'll see. I don't know if we get a good idea that isn't too infringy. Maybe we make that happen.
I like that, turning infringement into a verb. That's good, man. That's clever.
So Pokemon LE seems to be hot. I don't know if anyone's getting those prices, but it is fun to see a lot of excitement around the game. I think the excitement's kind of got us beyond being old men negative about the theme, and we're back into having fun with it.
Good. Yeah. Should we talk about a few other? Should we go straight into mod world? Or
no. I want to talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre for a bit.
Okay.
Alec and I got to play TCM at a really cool bar called the Headless Bat here in St. Louis. It's actually the Electric Bat is in Arizona.
Yeah.
This is called the Headless Bat, but it's like a metal themed. No, they're not related. But I had not got to play TCM other than on the floor at a couple of shows, and I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm sure it's come a long way from a code perspective, but it's got some really, really fun shots. The audio is really fun. I kind of wanted to talk about it because I had saw a comment that said someone was like, hey, Electric Playground, you guys should do a topper for it. And there was a comment in the thread that said, oh, well, Bug, who is the owner, operator of Spooky, I believe that's his title, owner, operator, probably not. But he was like, yeah, I'm going to do a topper and a shooter rod if it sells out. And I thought that was kind of interesting to like dangle to the community that you're going to do a fancy topper if you guys rally together to all buy said item.
How many short are they on selling out?
But I like it too because it's like if you sell it out, then you're like your incentive.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not.
The market's bigger, right?
Yeah. It makes sense and it's a fun like milestone.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think a lot of us are like coming around on Spooky because they're putting out good games, and I'm looking at some of these older titles, not that old, but these titles with a fresher light. It's really fun.
Same thing happened to Barrels, right?
Yeah.
Winchester kind of gave them a shot of adrenaline, and then suddenly everyone was looking at June again and going, "Oh, it's actually really, really fun."
Yeah.
That's really interesting because. So how do you? I mean, I know it had some. And look, I've only played it on the floor of shows and stuff, so take that with a grain of salt. But the word was that it did have some of the usual spooky sort of issues in terms of reliability, etc., etc. In terms of like how it shoots, I've had one game on it, so I can't really comment. But how would you compare it to Evil Dead?
Well, actually, it's got some like really cool ball movement that I just never took the time to appreciate because like when you're at a show you're also waiting in line on the new games and you get to play it once and it's just kind of hard to you need 5 or 6 games to like really get a feel. It's just got a lot more ball paths than I realized, and I think that the sound integration is really interesting. I think I wrote it off because it was like I'm just not into that theme at all, so but once you start to play it, there's this intensity of the game. Like it's actually, you feel this anxiety because the sound feels like it's building, and you start to actually like feel like you're becoming a mass murderer because you're making these sounds in the game. It's like people dying, and it's just like
quick question
from a theme integration perspective. I think it was just really, really intriguing to me. Yeah.
Quick question: how many beers had you had when you realized or started feeling like a mass murderer?
Well, I've played this game on that level 3 different times,
Okay.
And my beer consumption was different each time.
Yeah,
but as far as
you want to start
acknowledging
killing people,
it's kind of like playing Grand Theft Auto, and then you like get in your car and you're driving. Is like there's something going on there. I don't know if I want to admit but
cool,
really cool theme integration.
Okay, I mean, I love Spooky, man. You know, I've only ever wanted them to be, the best Spooky that they can possibly be. You know, I've always loved their games. They've not always hit the mark, I feel, but it's just so awesome to see them like hitting full stride. Really, you know, I mean, Evil Dead is an incredible game, an absolutely beautiful game as well, and all reports are that Beetlejuice is, that again. So yeah, man, I'm really excited because I just think that they're the most exciting manufacturer in the industry right now.
Yeah, Beetlejuice is awesome. Beetlejuice is awesome. So can't wait for everybody to get a chance on that. All right, man. You wanna do some mods?
Let's do it. Are you gonna play the intro?
You know it, baby. All right.
Okey-dokey.
What do we got today?
Yeah, it just hits so nice when you play that intro. Mods just much nicer when you do. So the first thing is, Pinball Browser, which is the bit of software that somebody wrote, I can't remember who, that enables you to get all of and change all of the assets on a Stern title, on a Spike 2 title. So it means you can go into Iron Maiden, and like Neil McRae, that's the second time I mentioned him, so one more.
Ding ding, where's my sound effect? Yeah.
We need that air horn, I reckon. The air horn is probably the right thing for that. So Neil changed all of the music in Iron Maiden because he doesn't like Iron Maiden music.
That was three.
Damn.
Where's the magic fairy?
Yeah. And he changed it to like disco tunes because I think him and his wife like disco tunes, and he called it Disco Maiden. So anyway, he used Pinball Browser to do that, and it was an absolute travesty because why would you change Iron Maiden songs to disco? I don't know, but he did, and that bit of software enabled you to do it. Well, this week, or this week and a bit more, somebody has just announced that they've done the same thing for JJP games, which is very exciting.
Okay.
We got, it's only on page 2. It's got 47 upvotes already, so a lot of interest in this. It's a big milestone.
Somebody's going to go deep on a game with this.
Yeah.
Like. We're going to see something interesting come of this.
Yeah. We'll see something interesting. And so you can see here, it's a bit of software. I think it's written in Python for all the nerds out there. But
what's a better example of this than you gave? Like, well, one I'll tell you is like there's a bar in Alabama that turned an Iron Maiden into a Beastie Boys game.
Yes.
But they did all the artwork on it, and then they did the music. So it was just like it's a way to take your retheme project or your whatever project to like another level, and you're saying this is the first time it's going to be available for a JJP game. Right?
Exactly right. Yeah,
cool.
Exactly
cool.
right. And that Beastie Boys game is a really good example, actually, because it's not just a sort of like a, obviously as a pinball person, you can sort of, change whatever you want asset wise in the game. So you can change the video, you can change the music, sound effects as well, I believe. So all of the audio visual stuff you now have access to, and you can change it all out. And as just a humble pinball person, you can change your game in that way. But I think the example you gave with Beastie Boys is a really a great example of people who have used it for some, for a grander sort of idea, which is a retheme project, and that's a really cool thing. What I really love is that the first comment in response to this was, Chinese democracy songs can now back off on GNR.
Was that Alec? Is that Alec that made that comment? I'm pretty sure Alec upvoted that comment at the very least.
They're getting an upvote. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, upvote. So yeah,
Look it up,
very, very
kids.
cool.
It sucks.
Yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should. Yeah.
No politics here. Just talking about music.
Yeah. So that's So that's great. It's in its infancy. It's probably got a lot of bugs. I think somebody was having some problems installing it or whatever. But a very cool milestone,
Yeah.
and it's a great thing. So well done. People do this out of the kindness of their hearts. Free software.
And this is just sounds. This is not rules or scoring, right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only the audio visual stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, rules and scoring, whole nother kettle of fish, I think. Basically, I think you take the game image and then it decrypts it, and then gives you access to those assets, and then you can then re-encrypt it back into the original ISO, whatever it is, with those new assets that you've stuck in there. So yeah, very cool thing, man.
Nice.
Now, last week we did a massive rundown of all the mods that happened in 2025 and a couple that were in 2026 as well. And we raced through everything in about an hour.
Is this your mea culpa on leaving something out? Is that where this is going?
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, very sorry to the Pinball Mod Co. Who, about a year ago.
Oh yeah, because this one's a monster. This is like, I gotta. Did I send you a video from somebody on this? I'm gonna pull it up.
No, I don't think so.
Keep going.
Yeah, so you find that video. So
right.
Essentially, Godzilla, the most modded pinball machine of all time, I don't think anybody would disagree with that, has Mecha Godzilla in it that pretty much nobody's really done anything with. So a couple of people had sort of put LEDs in the eyes and things like that, but nobody had really done anything. So Pinball Mod Co. is a fella who has done a bunch of stuff. I think he worked on Wizard of Oz. I think he was working on Iron Maiden. He had some beef with Goiva because I think he might have copied his flying monkey, or copied his flying monkey mod for Wizard of Oz. But anyway, I don't think anybody could say that he hasn't done an incredible job of this. Super complex, multiple servos. The head rotates, right? Like rotates continuously and has LEDs in the eyes. And so he's got I can't remember what they're called, but essentially it's like a electronic swivel plate that still keeps all the electronics connected into the head of the mecha. And he's doing it all by taking, people send him their Mecha Godzilla, and then he does the alterations to it and then sends it back to them. So it's a hugely laborious process for him to do this. And it doesn't come cheap as well, that's the other thing. But what have you got for me here, Rob?
I think this is the promo reel. You sent me maybe the official promo reel on this? Okay, here we go. So you have to actually send it off to him. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Which, for what it does, it's worth it. And that's not out of bounds for mod making. That's people do that sometimes.
No, it's happened. Yeah. I think he may also offer, because I think he has purchased some as well, but that's an additional cost on top. Yeah, so it's patched into loads of different switches, so he responds to loads of different game events. You can see it's 3 different servos running, 1 in the head, 2 in the hands, 1 each in the hands, so 3 in total. Plus some very clever electronics as well in order to get his head to swivel continuously. He should do his actions now, I think.
Yeah, I think this is probably better with the audio.
I would have cut some out of that.
There we go.
There he goes. There he goes. Yeah. It's very cool. He had some initial hiccups when he was sending stuff out to people. I think hands were breaking off in the mail and stuff. That's it's part of the course. We've all been through that. There's always a couple of hiccups early on. I think he's really come to the party to make sure that everybody's sorted out for all those things. Everybody seems very, very happy with it now. And he's just done a great job. So very sorry that I didn't mention that on last week's show. It was a very big mod of last year, probably one of the bigger ones. So I'm glad we got to cover it tonight.
Cool.
Right. Okay. Now, one of your competitors Is that probably doing you a disservice calling Vincent Mods a?
No, his stuff is awesome, and I think I think. I don't know. How he does what he does is beyond me. I mean, he's doing it in small runs, so he's spending a lot of time on each one. But they're very incredible.
I'll quickly go to his web page because I might be able to. So this is probably his most famous one, isn't it? It's the Dungeons and Dragons.
I was thinking about Tim Proctor.
Proctor, I mean, he's incredible as well, man. Yeah.
So that comment was about Tim Proctor. This stuff is interesting, though. I mean, I don't know him. I'm sure he's a great guy. I don't mean to speak negative. I think one feedback is like it seems like some of the ideas are regurgitated, but it's also a sweet spot, and we certainly have our sweet spot too. So I'm sure having this is pretty fantastic. Yeah. So is he doing some mod stuff too? Is that?
He's done, which I very negatively refer to as the obvious transition into action plate button covers. I think maybe he should think about doing them in resin. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's like just the level of detail isn't there on that photo, and it's not a super close up.
No.
So it's like I wouldn't want to see it super close up.
Exactly. So I would say, without being mean, because like if you look at, okay, hang on, I know my video.
But it's also what's the price too? It's like you can knock my man Don for doing a bunch of 3D printed stuff, but it's also not super expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what the price is, so we'll check that. But I mean, look at that. That does have good detail, right?
Yeah,
that is resin printed. So I'm not sure why his work there looks so good, and it does. I think that looks good. I think that looks really good. And then, I mean, Christ, man, that's his cover photo, and you can see the print lines. I don't know, man, what's going on there? So
there's a place for everything, and certainly right there in your face is probably not the best place for deep print lines.
No. And the first comment on his pinside page. Anyway, let's not go in 2-footed on this. But if I was him, I would go back to the drawing board on that and get them resin printed and get them painted better. Because his other work seems a lot more high quality than that. So anyway, that's that. Let's move on. All right.
Davey made himself uncomfortable.
I actually did. Yeah, I was like, I feel like I'm being too much of an arsehole. I need to move on.
I tried to save him on the price, and it didn't work out either, but moving on.
Okay, so this one's come out of nowhere a little bit. So this is the UK pinball forum, Pinball Info. Most people would never have heard of it. It's a very, UK-centric pinball forum. So my man Mozzie, who I've spoken to a little bit over the years, looks like he's just started sort of doing a few mod bits and pieces. So on the previous page, there was like a spider mod for Kong, where he's like essentially repurposed a spider that he's purchased online. A lot of people have done that, but here what he's done is he's created a moving Kong for King Kong Pro. So on the Pro version of the game of King Kong doesn't move like he does on the Premium and LE version. The Premium and LE versions, his arms move up and down, he moves back and forth and shakes and stuff, and it's very cool. But Pro owners miss out on that. What Mozzie's done is recreated that servo movement, the three servos, one for each arm, one for the body, in this control unit, which looks like a custom control unit as well, and then has multiple switches attached to it to trigger it in game. And now let me see if I can go full screen here.
This is insane. This is insane. Like, and it all fits in there. Holy cow! Yeah. No, this is great.
Yeah. Hang on. Can you? When I go full screen there, can you see it? Can you see that?
Yeah. We got it.
Okay.
I'm just blown away. Sorry, I got distracted.
So anyway, there it is. My video's acting up, but you can see him moving back and forth and doing his thing.
That's cool.
Like, cool, right? So, and look, man, I mean, this looks like, that could
legit.
be 3D printed.
It's legit.
It's a bit hard to tell from the photo. That could be 3D printed, but it also looks like it could be metal as well. He's done a really, really good job. This guy's come out of nowhere, man. So, the only thing I'd say about it is the connections look a bit. He's using those pin connections that are a little bit flaky, so those could be improved. But outside of that, it's really impressive stuff, man. Particularly for somebody who's come out of nowhere. So yeah, we've been getting in touch with him because Paul's doing a King Kong replacement. So oh god, why is my video? Give me shit. Let me get rid of that. Paul's doing a King Kong replacement, so it'd be great if that replacement was also available for the Pro, and this would be a good way of making that happen. So I don't know where those conversations are leading, but we're going to try and sort of pull him in and work out what he wants to do with it.
Cool.
I think it's
Good
a really
find.
cool thing.
Good
man.
find.
Yeah, I know.
I do know that website because I love their logo. I'm not on it actively.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, you know the logo. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It's like a medieval madness kind of play, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry.
So the final thing, Rob. The final thing was this.
This is a different kind of mea culpa.
Yeah. We're going to go in two-footed again, man. This is part of our turning over a new leaf in 2026. We're doing less prep and more shit talking. Yeah.
So far, anyway.
Yeah, so far. That might all change when we decide that the pod's just gone downhill massively. But anyway, so last week we were talking about a mod that had been released for the Harry Potter CE topper, which was a nice 3D printed sort of facade, I suppose, that goes over the existing...
Different than this one we're seeing right now.
Different than this one.
Yeah.
And you spoke to those guys, didn't you?
I have, yeah. He's a great guy, and he's overwhelmed in a good way. So off to a good start.
Yeah. And they've done a great job. They've got it all packaged up and nice, and it's a two-man team. I think two guys sort of just got talking and decided they were going to work together on a solution, and they have sort of released that. They've got a mod thread on Pinside. You can sign up for that. Maybe a week after that. Here we go.
We get a comment.
Yeah.
This guy probably, I would say based on that text, he probably didn't buy it.
Yeah, I'd say probably. Now, is it $2,500 or is it $3,000?
Well, it was, no, the funny thing was it was apparently advertised as $3,500, but apparently that was a typo, and it's actually $2,500. So we are reporters. We have to get our facts straight. And
it was actually
a typo.
It's actually a bargain. You essentially save $1,000 then. That's amazing. Incredible, yeah. Yeah, of course, you could probably save yourself a little bit more if you shopped on Amazon, but...
So tell us what we've learned about this.
Okay, so last week I mentioned that somebody else had released another topper replacement or mod, I suppose, for the topper, and it looked good. When we during the show, we sort of investigated the photos a bit more, and it looked like there was some maybe sort of sketchy stuff around sort of the base, which I hadn't noticed before the show. So it was, we were sort of
the cracks were forming in real time. They were literally
they were. You could see my face going redder and redder.
Well, literally when we ended the show, because when the show's over, there's we can still keep talking, and Davey's like, I'm not thinking that I should have shown that.
Yeah.
He's literally getting red right now. You guys can see it in real time.
I mean, it's since been suggested by people that it's actually a 3D puzzle that you can purchase on Amazon. Now, there's been a couple of funny comments since they released their video, which is, cool looking topper, how did you make it? It almost looks like a 3D puzzle. And then they said, sure appears to be, found on Amazon. And then the person from Perfection Pinball who released the topper said it's not a puzzle, with puzzle spelt incorrectly, not that we're pedantic like that. But he mentions it's hard cardstock, blah blah blah, front side is high gloss, etc., from a high quality topper. So and then everybody kind of backed off, I guess, because they're not as big at arseholes as we are. But I think when we were talking about it, and look, as with most people in this space, we appreciate you building and contributing, but I think as we talked about whether we wanted to cover this, it was just it's a learning moment from a disclosure perspective, and I think that was probably the big issue here, was that
not only was it not disclosed, but it does seem like it's still kind of not being properly disclosed, right? And you can charge whatever you want for something, but like if you are going to charge that kind of money, then like disclosure seems really important. So
100%. Yeah. I think that's the biggest issue, and nicely described, Rob. Making a topper out of a 3D puzzle is great. Like go for it. And I'm sure most people who would see this, even if they knew it was a 3D puzzle, if they didn't have the time or the inclination to work out how to retrofit it to their topper, then having a custom-made solution like this is perfect for them, and I'm sure a lot of people would be like, great, let me know how much it is, send the instructions, and I'll get that fitted, because it's the benefit of these kind of companies who produce these things is they do so in bulk, so these can be purchased cheaper and of better quality than we can when we're producing like 100 units or 200 units. So I'm sure the quality level of that 3D puzzle is very, very good. But, people need to be aware of the fact that it is what it is, and it, hasn't been hand produced by them. Because it's also doing a disservice to the people who have put in like, a lot of work, on that other topper replacement, who have designed everything by hand and will potentially lose sales to these guys who aren't being upfront about, where they source their materials from.
Or maybe it's amazing. So if anyone out there did buy this and they got it and they think it's worth $2,500, we'd certainly like to be wrong. But we'd also like to know if it is a 3D puzzle. I think it is.
Seems like it is.
It seems like it is. Anyway, so is that it for mods, or are we?
That's it for mods, man.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. Should we wrap it up?
Let's do that. So we got TPF coming up, and we will miss you, Davey.
Yeah, I'm a bit upset about that, man. But you're my man on the ground. I expect a nice walk around to, doing the pin walk and showing the various things there. I was going to send you a big cardboard cutout of myself that you could take around with you and impersonate my Australian
I want
voice.
one of those in general, so please make that happen. So we don't really have any major announcements. Pokemon will be now consumed by a mass audience, and lots of comments on that, and I'll certainly share with you guys what I think. I think we get an announcement that Hexa, which is done one game to date, is that a French company? They are showing their game, which has been rumored to be Three Musketeers, I believe.
Yep, I believe so. Yep.
So I saw some kind of announcement that that's going to be there. Hexa releasing a new game. And then we'll have Beetlejuice for a lot of people for the first time. Hopefully a little bit shorter lines on Winchester House. So yeah, man, we'll miss you, but must have a TV cutout. Let's build that instead of that Pokemon garbage.
Yeah. And
I hear that licensing situation is a real doozy though, on the Davey cutout.
Oh yeah.
We'll get past it.
We'll talk offline about what you owe me to carry that around. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. So it'll be fun. It's a fun show.
Yeah, and then I'll have a little. I'm doing a product announcement a day before TPF. I'm not going to say anything about it now. But hopefully we'll get a chance to speak about that on the next show after we get back from TPF. And, I guess it'll be a TPF-focused show, won't it? We'll talk about all of the different things that you saw and, your impressions of the new games, and we'll just do a full TPF rundown.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. I'll do some video, and then we can kind of talk through what I saw. And thank you, everybody, so much. We are going to talk about the next show timing, so will be... I don't know if we'll be back before TPF, but we'll be back sooner than normal. So
next show would be scheduled for the 16th. TPF's on the 21st, isn't it, or the weekend of the 20th? So 20th, 21st, 22nd. So we might just leave for 3 weeks on the next one, and then just do a post TPF rundown.
Awesome. Well, everyone, thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time. Thanks.
All right,
Davey.
see you along. Bye.